Hi everyone! I am here today with a what's on my iPhone 6 Plus video. So I'm just going to take you guys through my most used apps. I'm going to show you all the folders as well, but I'm not going to go into every app in detail. First, let's start with the apps I have across the bottom. Of course, these are the ones that I use most often. I've got Messages, my Mail, which is my main Gmail account that I pretty much use for everything. Then I have Firefox, which I always keep open to my YouTube Gmail. So this is my Petite Hairstyle Gmail. And I guess I can show you that because there's nothing too personal in here. You guys see all my comments anyway. So I got a new comment on my newest vlog, my Derma Rolling Chit Chat, but as you can see, this is really the only tab that I use on my Firefox. Moving back to the main screen, I use Google Maps all the time, so that's just in the corner down below. I only have one page of apps. I like to see everything at a glance, and the way I organize everything is I put into folders the apps that I don't use as often. The apps that I use either every day or I want really easy access to, I put solo. So as you can see, my first app is my phone app. Now let's move on to my day one app. This is a journal app that my friend introduced me to. Started using it as a product tracker, and that has been working really well for me. So what I basically do is when I start using a product, I'll take a photo of it. So for example, on Friday, I started using this Elizabeth Arden mascara. So I took a photo of it, I loaded it to my day one app, and I put a star, meaning that this product is currently being used. It hasn't been finished yet. Here are all the products starred that I've been using along with the date that I started using them. This is the most recent product that my husband and I finished in this case. So this is the Buck Naked soap, but we finished using this on May 21st, so I unstarred it. And I also put an end date. So I take the information from this app and I actually use it to input into my spreadsheet because I don't always have my spreadsheet open, but I pretty much always have my phone with me. Hue is just an app that controls the lights in our condo. We only have 2 sets of lights that this controls, and my husband installed the bulbs and also this app on my phone so I can use it to turn on the bedroom lights behind me. I don't know if you'll be able to see that the lights went on in the closet behind me. Maybe you can see a little bit of yellow up here. Yeah, you could see that it went out a little bit. It controls our living room lights by our TV and also the closet light in the bedroom, which is really handy if I wake up before my husband and I don't want to turn on the overhead light. I can still turn on the closet light so I can see what I'm doing, what clothes I'm picking out. Next is the settings app. I keep that up top because I refer to it all the time. In my tools, I have these apps here, so I've got 9. Dropbox is an app that I use for all of my documents, so I do refer to that when I'm on vacation and I want to see my travel cards, for example. Aside from Dropbox, I actually don't use this folder that often. I've got the standard Skype, FaceTime apps. Voice memos comes in quite handy. I don't really record memos to myself, but if I want to record a sound clip, say a music clip or something like that, I will use that. So I used that in Costa Rica when we were at the restaurant with live music. Wunderlist is an app that my friend and I use. We have restaurants that we want to go to. So we've got this shared list and all of the restaurants that we want to try. We just went to Thoroughbred, so I'll tick that off now. If we're wanting to decide on a restaurant and we can't think of any off the top of our head, we will just refer to that list, which we share together. Contacts is pretty straightforward, as is Compass. Zippo lighter is an interesting one. I sometimes go in here every once in a while. I don't really use this very often, but it's very retro for me. I never really smoked or did anything like that, but I loved Zippo lighters, and this is just one of those nostalgic apps that I can't bring myself to delete. The last app I have in tools is just the Find iPhone app. Next, let's move on to Move. So this is basically my catch-all for healthy living and for sports. So I use, of course, my activity tracker. I like to look at this just to make sure that I've closed all of the circles any given day. And actually, I only really try to close the inner 2 circles, so the stand one and also the exercise one. The calories one I don't really pay too much attention to, so you'll see that some days I did close the circle and some days I did not. But here is the little history of my Apple Watch activity tracker. As you can see in February, there's a little bit of a gap because we were in Costa Rica and I didn't bring my watch. My health app, I don't really open all that often. My Apple Watch I've put in my Move because I really associate that with my activity tracker. My MyFitnessPal, I haven't been logging my calories, but I still use this to log my weight. But as you can see, I do track my food by time. So instead of your standard breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack categories, I have time slots throughout the day. And that's basically how I track my food when I do track my food, which hasn't been in quite some time. The F45 challenge app, I was thinking of doing the F45 challenge. I'm not sure if I'm still going to do it or not, but we'll see. But I have that app. The Carrot app is new. I really like this because you can earn scene points with this app. It records your daily goal based on your average steps per day. And as you can see, my daily goal is quite high because I walk to and from work. But my daily goal is 13,400 steps. And here are the days that I have met the goal. Basically any weekday that I walk to and from work. Weekends I fall short. So every time you meet your goal, you get some scene points, and there are also fun little quizzes that you can do to earn scene points as well, but I've already done all the quizzes. So at the top you'll see that I've earned 371 scene points since downloading this app. My husband told me about this app and I'm really enjoying it, and you can close it. It just runs in the background, so that's great as well. Really into baseball, so I have the At-Bat app, and then I have two apps on sumo that I haven't referred to in a while, but we're going to be watching sumo in July, so I may still need those. And I'm very liberal about just deleting apps that I don't use. I like my phone to be really uncluttered, but you'll see probably in a couple of folders I still have quite a bit of clutter. Here is my travel folder. I have this Living Earth app, which is essentially a weather app that I don't use as often as the standard weather app, but I really like that there's the globe that you can spin around, and I have several places on this list that I like to look at. So these are the places that we'll be going in July. And then of course I have Brisbane because my sister is there. I have another sister in Ottawa, but because the weather in Ottawa is very similar to Toronto, I don't have a separate city for where my other sister is. Next app is Flight Stats. I really only use that when I travel, but you can enter in your flight number and it can tell you whether it's on time or running late. Bin is an app that I really like. I don't use it that often because I really only travel maybe twice a year, but on this app you can track all of the places that you've been, and it basically highlights the country. So here are all of the places in the world that I've been, and this is where I've actually stepped foot into the country, not just into the airport. So I've been to airports in Germany quite a few times, but I don't have Germany on here because I've never actually visited that country. And I'll definitely need to pay a visit to Australia or New Zealand in the near future. Antarctica is a destination I really want to go, but the cost and the difficulty in getting there is holding me back. There's also a sub app for the US. So here are the states that I've been to in the US, and there aren't that many, so I'll need to travel a bit more, maybe in a few years or so. I still want to do Canada first, so I want to go to all of the provinces and territories in Canada, and then maybe I'll work on seeing a few other places in the US. People are always surprised when I tell them I've never been to Florida. Next up we have some language apps. So I have Google Translate, Triplingo, Duolingo, which I don't use that often. I have Thai Kim's Learning Japanese, which I was using quite a for a while, but I prefer using the website. Mondly I have used, but I've used all of the free programming already. So there's nothing else for me to do besides the daily lesson, which I haven't done in a while. So I did the daily lessons on the 1st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 11th, and then I've missed so many other days. So I'll have to get back on that. It's just not in my daily routine, so I always forget. But these lessons were actually a lot of fun while I was doing them. I just have completed them all, so I have to subscribe if I want to continue. The last app I have in here is Next Bus, I think it's called, and it's basically a transit app that I can use if I'm taking the TTC here in Toronto. Here is where my apps get a little bit cluttered. A few that I still use somewhat regularly are Boomerang. I also use Twitter mostly to check news and such. Periscope for the same reason, if I want to see what's happening, say if there's a rain delay at a baseball game and I want to see if anyone's live streaming from there, I will use that app. Other than that, I don't really use any of these. Maybe Snapseed every once in a while. I used to love Hipstamatic and I would buy all of the Hipsta packs, but that was kind of a trend for me and I've fallen out of habit with using that app, so I still keep it on my phone, but I don't really use it that much. Sometimes I use the Diptyque app, I think it's pronounced that way, to do like a side-by-side of my photos and such, but I don't really do that anymore either. I just prefer to have one photo, so I haven't been using that as much either. The listen section just has my music app, Shazam. I don't have an Audible subscription anymore, but in case I ever do subscribe again, I still have that app. I have a couple of radio apps. I have the video app and I also have the YouTube app. So this is kind of like a watch listen, but I don't really like to be too wordy in my descriptions. In terms of shop, I have my Shoppers Drug Mart app because I still collect Optimum points. I have my wallet app even though I'm very behind on technology and I've actually never used Apple Pay. I have my stocks app, which I use from time to time just to check my stocks. I don't really check that often because ups and downs don't really bother me that much, but from time to time I will take a peek. And then I've got my various stores like the App Store, the iTunes Store, and the Apple Store. I've got this cruelty-free list if I'm looking for a new brand or whatnot. So this is the Leaping Bunny app. And then I have the Flip app, which I never use, so I can probably delete that. Actually, let's just delete that now to clean that up. That's all the apps I have. And then this is a new to me app. My friend told me about this because she knows I'm decluttering. So this is an interesting app. I haven't posted anything on here yet, but you can basically post anything that you want to trade. So I may post a few things, I'm not too sure yet. I did download this app and join the community in February, I believe, but haven't really been involved. Next up we have my Eat folder, which has a few apps in it that I do use. I use my Starbucks app every once in a while when I go to Starbucks. I always pre-order my drink or my food. I just don't go that often. Tim Hortons app I've actually never used, but I have that on there. I think I may have some cash on a gift card on there. Ritual, my husband and I use from time to time to order food. And then I have some review/reservation apps, Yellow Pages Dine, Yelp, TripAdvisor, and then I have Seafood Watch, types of seafood I should avoid just for sustainability reasons. Here are the best types of tuna to eat. Here are some good alternatives. Lots of ones that we should avoid depending on the location. I haven't referenced this app in a really long time, but I am trying to eat more seafood, so maybe I will start referencing it more. Next we have the Play folder. I've got my Time Play app in here, and then I have a few games that I play from time to time, but not a whole lot. So I used to play Tetris all the time, but I've since stopped, so I've deleted that off of my phone. The ones I still kind of click on from time to time are the New York Times crossword app, Textropolis, and Sudoku. Pocket Frogs is an app that I've had for a very long time and it really appeals to the collector in me. I can't bring myself to delete it because I spent so many hours breeding frogs, collecting frogs and such on this app. And then Eventbrite is an app that I sometimes use. If I have tickets to something, I will just scan my ticket on Eventbrite. So finally, I'm going to talk about my standalone apps. These are the apps that I use pretty much every day. Some of them could fit into my category folders, but I want them available in a single click, so I just leave them out. If I change my mind though, or if there's an app that I'm using more regularly, so for example, if I started tracking my calories again, I would move the MyFitnessPal app out, and then I would have to move one of these other standalone apps into a folder, just so everything just stays on one page. So my first row of standalone apps on the bottom half of my screen are pretty self-explanatory. I've got clock, camera, photos, and Instagram. Instagram because I use that pretty much every day to post my work outfits. Then I have my podcast app, and I use this app every single day on my way to and from work. So here are the podcasts that I'm subscribed to, a whole bunch of Japanese podcasts. I've got The Tim Ferriss Show and Hardcore History. No new episodes in Hardcore History. I've only listened to one, but I do plan to listen to more down the road. And then the 3 that I'm not subscribed to, I just download episodes as I feel like listening to them. Next is my Spotify app, and I listen to this every day at work. I just have the free account and I like listening to Hot Hits Canada, I like Dance Pop, Lady Gaga, Top Hits, and the like. So those are the things that I've been listening to lately. White Buffalo is a band that I heard about on the Tim Ferriss Show and gave that a try as well. My calculator and notes app I use all the time. Notes I like to take down when I'm listening to podcasts just on my way to and from work. So if I hear something interesting that I want to look into, I'll just jot it down en route. I still play Pokemon Go when I go to and from work, for example, or if I'm walking to dinner. We don't really go on Pokemon Go outings very much anymore, so I'll just play basically when I'm in transit. I have the Pokemon Go Plus, so I don't have to be looking at my phone. I can just basically click a button as I'm walking and everything works perfectly in the background, so my phone can be in my purse or whatnot and I can still be catching Pokemon and spinning Pokestops. And I am on level 35 and I do use a male avatar. The Score is an app that I reference all the time because I really love baseball and I'm still following hockey. So I use this app to check scores, dates for next games and such. I also like this app for news. I have my Safari app, which is my main web browsing app. I also have Firefox, but as I mentioned before, I use Firefox for my Petite Peristyle email exclusively. And finally, I have my daily weather app, which I like looking at because it has the time of day, so I can see if I'm walking to and from work at those specific times, whether it's forecasted to rain. So this is the reason I like this app a little bit better than the other one with the globe, which is beautiful, but I don't find it as functional. I think it does have the time on there, but I don't know if it's every hour. So I have the same cities on this phone, Toronto, some Japanese cities that we'll be visiting, and of course I have Brisbane, and the weather in Brisbane is just, oh, so beautiful. So that is it for what's on my iPhone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, long-winded video. I'm gonna try to cut it down. If you use a smartphone, please let me know what some of your favorite apps are and how you like to organize it. Thanks again for watching this video. I will be back very soon with another one. Until then, please take care and bye for now.